Hello everyone and welcome to the Creative Noelan podcast. On this episode, we're joined by self-portrait artist and my mate, Claire Riley. As a teenager, Claire was diagnosed with ME and later with bipolar disorder. Claire joins us to talk about her new body of work, Do I Make You Feel Uncomfortable?, where she's exploring her own mental illness through self-portraiture. The project is, in her words, honest, brutal, surprising, and maybe a little bit ugly, but it's also very real. And to me, it's incredibly brave. It's a project that Claire hopes can open up more conversations about mental health and hopefully help other people who may be going through something similar. We discuss Claire's whole creative journey and all of the paths that have led her to now find, within this new body of work, not only what she's supposed to be doing with her creativity, but also herself. In addition to being a practicing artist, Claire is also a marketing manager for an art gallery. Claire gets to spend her days talking about and being surrounded by art and artists. But not only that, she gets to be behind the scenes of a gallery and understand how it all works, which gives her a very unique perspective. And as a result, Claire has learned some great lessons that she kindly shares with us. Most important of which being, don't let anyone tell you that your work isn't good enough. If you believe in what you're doing, you've already won. You can check out the links to Claire's social media and see the project while you're listening to the podcast, of course. But look, the masks are off with this one, and there is definitely no sugarcoating it. We discuss some topics that may be uncomfortable for some people, including mental illness, medication, and suicide. But that's the whole point. We have to be able to have these open and honest conversations. And that's the reason why I've got Claire on the podcast. So, let's get into it. Claire, thanks for doing the Creative Noelan podcast. Let's just start it that
You're
way.
welcome.
That's just the easiest way to start it. Do I make you feel uncomfortable?
I thought you were asking me a question then.
I am asking you a question.
You don't know.
No, good.
Not at the moment.
That is the name of your current body of work,
Yeah.
which we're going to talk a lot about. But Claire, you're a self-portrait artist,
Yeah, I am.
but also, interestingly, you're a marketing manager at an art gallery.
Yeah.
So you lead this double life. So I thought it'd be interesting to get you on, but primarily because we're mates,
Yeah.
and also because I do really want to talk about the body of work, Do I Make You Feel Uncomfortable?
Yeah.
But Claire, where do we start?
Oh, well, I don't know. Where
How
do
would
we
you
start?
describe the work that you're creating?
At the moment, honest, maybe a bit brutal. To a lot of people who know me, quite surprising. Maybe a bit ugly. But just not what people expect of me. Because you know me, you know how I come across. I'm quite
Outgoing?
loud,
fun.
bubbly, laugh that'll make children cry. But then in reality, on a Monday when I come alive in my studio and people realise, oh, she's not died during the week, she's back working again. And I'll post something and they're like, oh, will you just smile?
Because that's at the root of the work that you're creating, isn't it?
Like, it's got to the point now where I'll post something and my sister will comment every week, oh, I do wish you'd smile. Like, jokingly, obviously, because that's what it all comes down to. But that people do say it. People will come into the gallery that I know, artists that I know who follow me. Oh, it's really great. Are you going to do a smiling one?
So I guess we should explain. You described it to me as you're essentially exploring your own mental illness through these self-portraits, because we kind of missed that out. People are probably listening going, why does she not want to do a smiling one? Essentially, that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah.
How would you describe these self-portraits of yourself that you're doing?
So I've got bipolar disorder. Very happy to talk about it.
Which we'll discuss the slightly unusual origins of that.
Yeah, it
back
is.
when you were 15, 16. But we'll
It
get
is
to that.
fucking
Sorry.
weird. It's fucking
Sorry
weird.
to interrupt.
So yeah, so I've got bipolar disorder, and I've been painting and stuff forever. But it got to the point where I'm sure we'll come back to this, but I'd lost my way. I didn't really know what I was doing, didn't have any direction. And we went on a holiday and I decided to start journaling. But through the journaling, I just thought, oh, do you know, I might just, because I always loved drawing and I loved life drawing and I hadn't done it for ages. So I thought, oh, fuck it. Okay, I might just do a self-portrait and see how that goes. So I started doing them. And that's when like the comments came, because I'm not going to sit and do a self-portrait of myself grinning inanely at a mirror, because that's just weird, isn't it? So they were just like me, just got a bit of a resting bitch face. So that's what it was. And then the comments started coming, oh, that's not your usual smiley face. And I started thinking to myself, oh, okay, this is quite interesting that I'm putting a face out there that people don't recognise. It's still me, but it's not the side of me that they recognise.
Well, we've spoken on the podcast previously about how we all sometimes have to wear certain masks.
Oh, massively. Yeah, completely.
Especially
I've got mine on
in
now.
your professional lives and, for example, on a podcast.
Of course. But it's the whole thing of growing up with this illness and like, you know, everybody around you.
Should we backtrack?
Come on.
Let's do the "this is your life" moment. Which I'm showing my age there just by that reference.
It's all right. I got it.
So school was normal for you.
I got bullied to fuck, but who doesn't? Standard.
We grew up in a time that was probably a bit different to now.
Yeah.
You had to be a bit tougher.
A little bit.
But you got glandular fever.
Yeah. I know it's weird. I'll say this in a minute, but I think that's a starting point. So I got glandular fever when I was in year 10 and I got really ill. I was off school for ages, missed loads of school in years 10 and 11. And it just knocked me out. And after that, I got diagnosed with ME. So like I would just sleep forever. Like I managed to do like GCSEs and everything, and I got into doing A-levels and stuff, but I missed probably about a third of my GCSE years.
And that must be really tough as a
it was rubbish.
As a teenager.
Yeah, it was shit.
Like the social aspect, missing all that as well. And
yeah, I mean, I wasn't the most confident of person, so missing that time,
that didn't help.
Nah, wiped me out completely. Like the only things I'd get out, Mum always jokes, the only things I'd get out of bed for was to listen to the football.
Really?
Yeah, that's why United are so important to me, because they'll help me through a lot of really bad times. So I got ME after like glandular fever.
In my naivety, how does glandular fever lead to ME?
It's quite common.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, they call it chronic fatigue now. It's not really known as ME so much, but it's just because it completely wipes out your immune system and you just get knackered. So I was just constantly exhausted. And then through my A-level years, it just got to the point where I was just really depressed and just didn't want to get up, do anything, just hated everything. And I had a really good GP. I think a lot of GPs, when you're faced with a 17-year-old who's really depressed and is quite ill, they probably wouldn't go, right, come on, let's get you on some medication. But she did, to be fair. And so I started on medication when I was like 17.
And did that help?
Yeah.
And did that allow you to, in some ways, start catching up?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Did you feel like you were behind socially, academically?
Yeah, completely.
Simply just because of...
Yeah, like, it'd come to the weekend and my mates would be like, oh, I'm going out, and I'm just like, I'm literally dead. I'm going to go and sleep. And, it massively knocked my confidence and everything. So I was just that crazy girl. But...
To outsiders, you were that crazy girl? Or
probably,
is that how you feel about yourself?
Both.
Okay.
Both. I felt very different to everybody else. We have a bit of a joke that my friendship group from school, there was something in the water.
Okay.
So we were all a bit fucking crazy. But I was one of the worst ones. And we're all still really close, and we're all still a bit crazy. But there was something in the water around us a lot. So we were a bit different. But I felt very different to everybody else. Like my mates would be going out and stuff, and I just wouldn't.
So what were you doing with your time? Is this where you were doing nothing? You weren't
sleeping.
Just sleeping?
Yeah. Yeah, and doing schoolwork, obviously. But during my A-level years, art was just like, it was a bit of a saviour. So
what do you mean it was a saviour?
So my school was ace. It's really funny. People always take the piss. They think I'm dead posh because I went to a school that had a moat.
A moat?
It's just a normal comp. Theresa May went there, but we won't talk about that. It's just a normal comp. But it's on the site of an old castle where Oliver Cromwell ran his Civil War campaign from. And so there's a moat. And so the building that was the art department was this fabulous Georgian mansion.
Oh, wow.
Which was amazing. So whenever I had a free period, I'd go down there and I'd be doing my artwork. So that was a bit of a saviour. And I'd be doing like life drawing classes and stuff after school. Because we were allowed like naked people in school. You wouldn't be able to do it now, but we were. It was amazing. And so it was a bit of a saviour. They had to
cross the moat though.
Well, you could go round. It's all right. You could walk past the stable block
Right,
and the deer house.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a normal comprehensive school.
Yeah, it was quite amusing when you'd get the local travellers would come up and wash their dogs in the moat. That was always good fun.
I've got the weirdest pictures of your school growing up now. But you told me that art was always something that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Hence why after A-level you geared foundation.
Yeah.
But you went to university.
Yeah.
What did you study, Claire?
Textiles.
Why did you study textiles?
So I did my foundation course and it was brilliant. It was such a good year. And you focus on different things. So in the first term, you'll be doing 1 day of graphics, 1 day of textiles, 1 day of fine art, 1 day photography. So you do everything, then you narrow it down. I just love textiles. I'm a bit of a colour freak and it was just so cool. I could just do anything I wanted. I could just be messy, and it's not like textiles like you'd think. It's not clothing.
Right.
It's just more, I don't know, surface pattern design. It's just art, just not using paint necessarily. It's using anything else. So textiles, it's quite a broad term.
Because it was called multimedia textiles and you studied at Loughborough.
Yeah. That just means you can do anything the fuck you want.
Okay. So what were you doing?
I mean, it wasn't massively exciting because through uni I was still really unwell and struggling with everything. And I don't think I took exactly the right path, but as you always say, we always end up where we're supposed to be. So I was doing a lot of stuff based on the patterns of tartan and lace, creating my own fabrics. And yeah, when I think back, I don't know how I had the patience cutting out my own lace and creating my own tartans and stuff. So it was quite cool.
Still difficult though, managing that alongside your mental health and still feeling
Yeah, because at that period I was suffering from like massive amounts of paranoia. Like I'd be living in my house with my housemates and I'd suddenly for a week I'd be convinced that none of them wanted to talk to me, none of them wanted to be with me. And paranoia is so strange, you can't recognise it when you're in it. You're just convinced. And this used to happen to me at school as well before I got unwell, so that's a bit of a sign. But I would just go through periods when I was just like, I'd be convinced no one wanted to talk to me, no one wanted to live with me, no one wanted to be with me.
Was it difficult making that transition from probably the stuff that you're a bit more used to, school, A-level, into
I think
the semi-adulthood of being a university student?
Transitions for me in my life have always been quite a big trigger of an episode. So earlier on, I always suffered more from like the depressive side of it all. So a change would make me just very depressed because it's a shock to your system, isn't it? I think things changing. So I would just go through periods like massive depression and paranoia. Now, as I've got older, a change will trigger more of a manic kind of episode. I don't get properly manic. I've never been properly manic. I get what they call hypermanic, which is not quite as bad as it could be.
Okay.
But you can fluctuate between the two. And with all these periods, paranoia, depression, mania, when you're in it, you can't see it. When you come out of it, you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, that's what that fucking was. But you literally cannot see it.
Just sounds like it must have been pretty tough even to just get through the 3 years of university and all the pressures that come with that. And
I was on medication the whole time, but I was on medication's very different now. Like I was on medication that had horrible side effects and messed you up in other ways. So it was a lot to deal with, but just get on with it, don't you?
Well, do you feel that that's built resilience though?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably.
Despite these hurdles or challenges with your mental health,
still
you're still doing it.
Yeah. I'm still here. I think that's the biggest achievement.
Doing the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, doing the thing.
So when you leave university, is it the next move you're going to be the next big textile designer? I'm really sorry, I don't know anything about textile.
No, I didn't want to do it. I had enough of it. And so my sister lived in Birmingham. I moved to Birmingham with my then boyfriend to find a job. And Yeah, that was, I mean, it's a bit of a limbo period, isn't it? When you like leave uni, it's okay, how am I going to do this? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, it's that offboarding thing of a lot of the time, especially in arts, they never teach you how to do it as a
No,
career.
exactly. I mean, I freelanced a little bit for a while with a design house in London, but I didn't want to do that. So
Were you looking for creative jobs or?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But then did it get to a point where you're like,
So I temped for a bit, and then I did find a job that was creative. I was like the art technician in a school, so I'd help out in art lessons, and I used to do all the darkroom stuff. So I was still doing really creative stuff. It just wasn't necessarily my own stuff, and I was doing little bits and bobs of my own stuff. But when you're living in like a shared house or a tiny flat,
you sort of glossed over the fact that you're an art technician there because that lasted for 18 years.
Well,
Claire.
no, because I wasn't an art technician for 18 years. So I was in the same school for 18 years, but I moved from being an art technician to, at the end, I was doing like all the graphics, the design, all the publications, building all the websites, looking after all the websites, doing all the photography. I was doing work with external clients to get money for the school. So I built it up a bit.
Were you thinking at this point, because you said you were creating in the background, but how much art were you creating?
Not a lot, because I didn't really have a direction. I didn't really know what I was doing. So, yeah, I'd just do little bits and bobs, maybe like fits and starts of stuff, but nothing that I've still got.
And over that 18 years, presumably, did you find some sort of routines and patterns? How's that?
Yeah.
Bearing in mind the change is difficult. Did the patterns and routine of being in the same school for 18 years help with your mental health?
I mean, schools are a crazy place to work. And wherever you work, you're going to work with some people who make things difficult. But I mean, it was really close to home. The hours were really good. I could do stuff outside of it. I worked, I had a really great friendship group that I worked with. So it was like going to work with your friends. But I don't know. I just think throughout the whole period, I was just a bit scared to try. And I think I got that job when I was, 22, 23? That's really young.
Yeah.
To try and work out what you want to do. I think at that point, I was just kind of like, well, I've got to make some money. And this is vaguely creative. That's quite cool. So I was you just get on, don't you?
Did you say you maybe got a bit stuck in the routines?
Yeah, and I did. And I was just scared to try, and
be an artist?
Yeah, but also to possibly leave and, I don't know, get a graphic design job or something. I was just a bit like, I can't do that. I just completely doubted myself. And so I probably got comfortable for a bloody long time, a really long time.
About 18 years worth of time, maybe?
It's a lot of comfortableness, isn't it?
So what happens? I'm guessing we spoke a little bit about when COVID came. It allowed you a bit more time and you were doing fun little projects and drawing people's houses and stuff.
Yeah, so COVID in a school is the most fucked up thing you'll ever know. The day that we went into lockdown, we had an assembly with the year 11s who were forced to leave early. They weren't ready to go. Everybody was crying. It was horrendous. But I wasn't furloughed, so I had to take my computer home and I was still working from home and stuff. But obviously it did allow me some more time. And I think I started, I was like, well, I can't go to the pub. I'm going to draw it. And then people started saying, will you draw my house? I was like, yeah, okay. So, I'd go around and have a social distance chat with them on their doorstep, take a photograph, and then I'd draw their house.
And what, you were just posting this on social media or something at the time?
Yeah. I was just posting stuff on Facebook and people were getting in touch. I mean, I had some very strange requests. Like one bloke was like, would you come to my house and draw my house in the nude? No.
Who would be in the nude?
Me.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. Sorry.
So why would you even ask that?
Yeah, that's not quite on the brief.
But yeah, you get a few odd ones, don't you? So yeah, and that year, it must have been either 2020 or 21, was huge. I sold about 10 grand's worth of £95 drawings.
So from someone that didn't have the confidence in your art, what are you suddenly feeling after selling 10 grand's worth of art?
I was just like, oh, fuck yeah, maybe I can do this. And then on the back of that, I spoke to my boss and I was like, can I change my hours? So I changed my hours so that I still did a full working week, but I did it in 4 days. So I had Wednesdays off. And then we moved house and I got my loft studio.
And so that obviously opened things up, facilitated.
So I had this day a week and I had this space where I had all my stuff. I didn't have to put it away. It could be as messy as I wanted.
See, there's no barrier to entry, is there?
Exactly.
Everything's there.
Yeah, exactly. So I just got that loft ladder and I'm in my space Like no one else goes in that space. And I get quite cross if they do because they just mess everything up.
There's a particular order to the chaos.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And then I started doing some more like abstract work. I love colour. So I was just like playing around with colour and stuff. And then I started getting some commissions for those. So I did some massive commissions for people.
Was it sort of like a snowball effect off the back of the drawings of the pubs and the social media, I guess?
Yeah, completely. Social media was amazing. And so I'd do something and I'd post it. And then somebody would be like, oh, I'd kind of like something for my house. Would you come around and have a chat? I think was it one of the first massive ones. It was this woman who'd got this fabulous new extension out the back and she wanted 2 paintings. And they were massive, like I think it was about like 2 meters by 1.5.
Wow.
The other one was about like 2.5 by 1. So they were huge. And she wanted them to echo each other. And despite having this fabulous loft studio, I stretched the canvas, but I couldn't get them up the loft ladder, so I had to do them in the garden.
I was going to say, that's a bit big for a loft.
Yeah. So that was in one of the summers. I did them in the garden. And then I got some more commissions. I did an absolutely massive one for another lady, which was very cool. I have got a cautionary tale. So I drew the front and back of a lady's house who'd had this fabulous Georgian-esque house built to fit in with the houses around hers. And it was beautiful. So I did the normal pen and ink drawings of the front and the back of her house. And then she was like, oh, I'd like some art for the inside, please. So yeah, went round, kids running around. And she showed me these artworks that she had that she liked. And she was like, okay, something, these are really heavily textured. I really like the texture. I really like lots of colour. Can you do something like this? And I was like, yeah, okay. So we're thinking lots of colour, lots of texture. You put it down on a plan and you send them a proposal and they say, yeah, that sounds good. So I did this massive painting that I think it's 2 meters square, finished it.
Right.
And she was like, that's not what I wanted it to look exactly like this artwork that I've already got. And I was like, so the proposal, she's like, yes, but I wanted it to look like this. So she wanted me to completely rip off somebody else's work.
Oh, I see.
And I was just a bit like...
What's the lesson in there?
I don't work with bell ends. I don't know.
Fair.
I don't know.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's all happy because it's on my living room wall. It looks ace. But I was
so all's well that ends well.
It does.
But
I had to have the whole conversation about, no, I'm not going to copy someone else's work. That's soul destroying.
Interesting for a commission to want someone to just copy someone's work.
Astonishing.
So in this time, your confidence is growing as an artist. You're selling, it sounds like a variety of different types of work, from the drawings to the abstract stuff.
Yeah.
Still working in the school.
Yeah.
But we discussed that you started to see lots of changes in the education sector about perhaps the emphasis that they were putting on arts and creativity.
Oh, God, yeah.
Which might have been one of the things that maybe led you to think about getting out.
Over the years, what you see in schools, with different governments, with different education ministers, just the peaks and troughs of what they go through and what they want and what they deem as important. Every week there'd be a new acronym for something that you're supposed to be doing. You've got to integrate throughout everything. And particularly during COVID, we all know how important art can be to kids to express themselves. And that's a pretty hard period to go through, like when you can't leave your house. And there's just, people don't bloody learn. They don't learn how important it is and they don't put enough emphasis on it. So, in my time at that school, I'd seen fabulous 40-year-old art classrooms demolished to make a media arts suite, soulless, with computers in, like throwing away so much equipment, kilns, all sorts of stuff goes out the window because they want to tick this latest government box of, we're supposed to be a media specialist school. So something goes out the window and it's fine art.
Yeah.
I've seen dark rooms getting demolished and put back in a few years later.
Yeah, resurgence in film,
you just see so much money being wasted, so much time being wasted.
And was there more of an emphasis, say, on, what's the acronym? Is it the STEM?
That's the current one, but there have been a million iterations of different things.
But it always seems to be the classic fine art, the traditional art sections of the school suffers.
Arts always suffers. Art, drama, always. They're always the ones to suffer. But then they're the ones that schools always expect to be the showcase. Come and see our play. Come and see our exhibition. How do you expect that to happen if you're not putting enough into it?
Yeah, that's interesting.
I never taught. I never wanted to teach because, no, just couldn't do that. But just the amount that teachers have to do now, paperwork. I know people who started at the same time as me in that school. They're still there. They're still teaching art. And I don't know how they're doing it because all of the data, all of the tracking, all of the paperwork just completely removes the time you've got to be the creative person who's trying to inspire these kids. And it's really depressing because then you just see schemes of work being recycled year after year. Nothing has changed. The kids do the same project where it's really prescribed. Everything's given to them. And it's just, you never walk into a class and the kids are all just sitting around a still life drawing it because there are certain hoops you've got to jump through that people who don't know anything about how to teach art have told you've got to do. And so it is really soul destroying and upsetting. You still get some kids who do amazingly and the teachers are incredible, but they're not allowed to do it properly. And it's just so fucking incredibly annoying, angering it is.
Yeah.
Just to watch it happen.
Yeah, and I can tell you're passionate about it. But did that lead to this want to get out potentially?
Yeah, I'd done my time. People had started to leave. It wasn't what it used to be. There was we're going to make this school join the dreaded trust of a million other different schools. So we're just going to morph and be like one of those other schools. So I was like, nah. The school I was at was really special. It was a brilliant school, but then leadership changed. And I was just like, nah, this is not what it should be. This is not what this place is. I want to leave before it gets really bad. And so I saw a job advert.
And this is where we move into marketing.
Yeah.
Marketing manager for an art gallery, which
Yeah.
almost seems like after the COVID and the building of the confidence to go, oh, I can actually maybe do this.
Yeah.
Well, you can actually do this. You sold
Apparently.
over £10,000 worth of art. So you can clearly do it. But this seemed like just a natural step, right?
Yeah, totally. It was 4 days a week. It was working in a freaking art gallery. The people who interviewed me, my prospective boss was phenomenal. I'll tell you about her, but she's amazing. And the people were awesome. And I was just like, holy fuck, this is crazy. And I was just like, yeah, thank you. And you know, when you go to an interview and you're just like, oh, I fucking nailed that. I knew it. But then it was just crazy. Like I got the message later in the day to say I'd got it. And I just went into the kitchen to Nick and I went, got it. And it was just like, fucking hell, you're escaping. Like after 18 years, that's quite big.
Was that a relief?
Yeah.
But did you have any trepidation about, again, a change? Bearing in mind how you said a change sometimes is a stimulus.
But I never recognise it. You'd think I'd know by now, but I didn't think to myself, okay, I'm going to be changing jobs. This is going to be big after 18 years. I need to look after myself. I never recognised that in building up to it.
So did anything happen?
I think I went through a bit of a hypermanic stage a little bit afterwards. You can confuse it quite easily with thinking that I was just being really good at my job and going out and making connections and being a million miles an hour. But actually, I was a bit over.
And is that the benefit of hindsight?
Yeah, totally. Oh, completely. But whenever there's a big change, that'll happen. You won't understand this, but it's like PMT for a woman. So you'll just be like rumbling along, normal stuff. And then you're just like, oh, why do I want to like rip everybody's heads off? And it's like, I don't know why I'm feeling like this. And then a few days later, it'll be like, oh, that's why. This happens every fucking month and I still don't see it coming. So it's like that.
Right.
It's weird, but you don't see it coming. I don't see it coming anyway. Have I put you off? I talk about PMT.
No, not at all. PMT is a natural progression for this podcast. So what does your role as a marketing manager at an art gallery look like? I know that's probably going to sound like quite an obvious question, but for listeners, what sort of thing are you doing? What's a daily?
Well, we're quite a unique little get-up. So we're really, really old, the society that I work for, but we're a very small team. So there's 5 of us.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're open 5 days a week. I do 4. So we're a very small team. So there's a lot of like pitching in. I've always done that. You pitch in your help and stuff. But yeah, it's
Did
a
it
lot.
feel like quite a dream job?
Oh yeah, it's really cool.
For an artist to go into like you say, working in an art gallery.
It's very cool. It's very cool. Like I go into work every day and I'm surrounded by artwork. That's pretty ace. And then my job is just to like shout about it and tell everybody and say, come and see it. That's quite cool.
That's fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
But in your own work, it sounded like you were producing all sorts of different stuff. And you almost mentioned that you felt a bit directionless with it all.
Yeah.
How did working in the gallery, because I think there's some interesting stuff that perhaps our listeners can really benefit from. How, as an artist, suddenly working in a gallery, what sort of things are you learning that you're taking into potentially being the artist?
Like,
and was it
so
helping
much.
you find this direction a little bit?
Yeah, I've learned so much just through experience of seeing stuff. So we run a lot of exhibitions where people can apply to the exhibition, and it's called an open call. So you'll apply, you'll submit your work digitally, it'll be judged by a panel of judges, and then you'll either get selected or you won't. So over the years, I've seen countless of these, so I know how that process goes. We're associated with 200 artists, and then there's all the artists who show with us. So it's a huge community, all sorts of work, every different type of artwork you can imagine. I've just learnt loads. I've learnt...
Yeah, can we sort of pick your brain a little bit? As an artist getting behind the scenes at a gallery, you have got a unique perspective.
Yeah. And it opened up a side to the art world that I didn't know about. Everybody knows about the RA summer show. You go to the RA in the summer and every single room is floor to ceiling artwork. So everyone knows about that one. But I didn't know about the hundreds and thousands that there are constantly. And that's what this job taught me. So I realised, okay, there's that outlet. I can submit my work to these things, and I might get it exhibited in a gallery in anywhere, London, Manchester, anywhere, all over the world. So I learnt that. I've started to learn, if you want to get on a little bit and get recognised, you've got to have a direction, and you've got to be... It's hard to explain. So people can become like part of our society. And to do that, you've got to have a developed practice. All this talk about your artistic practice. And I would say that when I started at the gallery, I didn't really have one. I painted, I drew, and I had these little pockets of work. So the buildings, drawings, the abstracts. I'd do the occasional self-portrait. I'd go up to the loft. I'd be like, oh, what am I going to do today? Don't really know. If I didn't have anything I was working on, I didn't know what to start working on. And then through this holiday, through this journaling, and through this kind of accidentally stumbling upon these self-portraits and people's reaction to them, I suddenly started thinking, oh, okay, this could be a project. I don't just have to stop at one self-portrait or two. I can just relentlessly do self-portraits.
Is that what you mean by the things you're learning from the gallery in terms of style, body of work?
Yeah.
Like you say, when you talk about artistic practice,
it's effectively your style. It's just a fancy word for it.
But do you think because you're working in so many different mediums...
Like maybe I had numerous styles, but I wasn't massively committed to any of them.
Right.
I didn't feel like I was doing what I should be doing.
So you had the skills, but like you say, you didn't have the direction for that.
Yeah, completely.
I see. So then we get to the journaling that it starts exploring some of the stuff around your mental health.
Yeah.
Had you ever done any work before about your mental health?
No, I've always been really open about it. As I've got older, I'm just kind of like, fucking hell, like I just don't care. If it can help people, I'm going to talk about it. It's just fucking normal. Like I've always said, if you can fix it with medication, that means it's a chemical imbalance, which is no different to something like diabetes.
Right.
So I've always just said, it's just a chemical imbalance. Just because it affects like my mood, don't be weird about it. I'm not going to be weird about it. So I've always been really open about it. And I was in the school, I was always like, if anybody ever has any, come and chat to me. I'll be really open about it.
And have you always been on the medication?
Yeah.
Of some sort?
Since I was 17. There's been a lot of changes. There's something that we'll come back to in a little bit when we'll talk about medication. But so I've always been so open about it. And then as you get older, you just think, I can't be bothered. You know what it's like when you have that mask on. It's like, this is exhausting. I'd like to show what I'm like the rest of the time and just not have to pretend for a little bit. And so to be able to be completely honest through the artwork that I'm making, it's just, it's like there's a weight off.
Cathartic and relieving.
Massively, yeah. But people have always said, if I'd say, oh yeah, I've got depression or I've got bipolar, they'd be like, oh, but you're so bubbly.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm a really fucking good actress. Really good actress.
Yeah. You're one of these people, I think, that we don't want to burden people.
Yeah. People say, how are you? But they don't actually mean it.
No, of course they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't mean... if you want the real answer, people want the
Exactly.
fluff answer
course they
because
do.
we're all just too wrapped up in ourselves.
So I got
to worry.
fantastic at just saying, yeah, I'm fine, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And that'd be it.
And fine, my mum and my grandmother used to say, fine is an acronym for fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. So yeah, I'm
Oh, I
fine.
fucking love that. Put it on a t-shirt.
There you go. Yeah, it probably is on a t-shirt somewhere already. Okay, so have you got any more things that you've learned as a marketing manager within an art gallery, that artists? What about marketing yourself as an artist? What can you give our listeners about?
Oh, do you know what? Like, I do it for other people every day, but it's very difficult to do it for yourself. There's so much of this with social media. There's so much pressure. I know this through work. And through work, I do it. Like, you post every day, you do different stuff all the time, blah, 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 all of that. But for myself, it's really hard because my painting day is on Monday. I go to the loft on Monday and I'll just crack on. They'll be like, fuck, I've forgotten to film it, or I've forgotten to take photographs. I've got no progress photographs. I'm shit at making content for myself. It's really fucking difficult because as an artist, you just want to be doing the thing, don't you? But then you've got to punctuate it by going, okay, I've got to just quickly do this. And then there's all the other shit that goes along with it, tax returns and keeping all your records and all that. So it's really hard. It's not easy, but you've just got
Have you got one little nugget, though, that might help people?
People love seeing you doing it. I mean, I could sit and watch other people paint for hours, and I'm not alone in that. People just love seeing you making what you're making, the progress of something, and like how it starts. But don't like sugarcoat stuff. Don't put yourself out there as being this big, shiny, fabulous, yeah, I'm an artist. Be honest about it. It's not fucking easy. And build a community, which is what you're trying to do. Build a community of people. I've met so many amazing people. And because of where I work, I have conversations like this every day. Somebody came into the gallery last week and we sat, he's another creative, we sat for an hour and a half just talking about it. So you just have these conversations all the time. But you've got to be honest. This is where I'm going to get a bit controversial. So a lot of the artists I work with they've come to it later in life. So they've had a career, completely unrelated, and they come to it later in life. And there's not an enormous amount of humility because there's this constant need to prove that you know what you're doing. It's like, okay, I haven't had the artistic education, but I've read all of this and I've seen all these shows. And so they're just trying to prove something a lot of the time. So this is why I say you've got to be honest, you've got to be humble. Don't become arrogant and don't talk down to other people about their work.
I think it goes back to didn't you say earlier, you don't want to work with bellends?
Yes, completely.
Different context, but...
Completely the same. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think there is some sort of weird persona that artists think they have to put on?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But we're just like we're not some kind of weird freak show. We're just normal people like anybody else. It's just that we're creative. And yeah, okay, maybe some of us are a bit more emotional and stuff like that. But you're just a normal person like anybody else.
Yeah, and I imagine working with so many different types of artists that you do.
Yeah.
You get to see that whole spectrum.
Yeah.
Do you notice the difference between the artists that have had that arts education compared to the ones that haven't?
So when I talk about arts education, I'm not saying that you have to have gone to college, gone to art school, but it's more about a journey where you keep listening and you are open to learning.
That continues.
Having those conversations constantly, but not approaching them from I'm going to tell you. It's like, this is a conversation, it's a dialogue. So I'm not saying that you have to have been to university. You've just got to be prepared to have those conversations, those honest conversations. It's like crit groups.
Yeah.
That's so important. And yeah, fair enough. Some crit groups at uni are absolutely brutal. And I'm not saying that's what you should be doing, but you've got to allow your work to be discussed. You can't just present it and say, yeah, this is fucking brilliant. Look at what I've done. Isn't it amazing? You've got to be open to those conversations. And that's what an arts education is, just being open to that conversation. Because as soon as you stop, I see it, the work stagnates. It's not interesting. It's not good. I know you don't like me talking about good and bad art, but it's not good. And it's just sad. Like, as soon as you lose that humility, you lose that willingness to let people talk about your art and ask you questions about it.
Well, if you think you're always right
Exactly.
and the way you paint or the way you create is always right,
Yeah, exactly.
there's no room for mistakes. There's no room for error. There's no room for that epiphany moment when you spill the inks over the canvas and you go, wow, that looks beautiful.
Absolutely. So it's just put yourself out there. Just keep talking to people. Let people talk about your artwork. If you're putting it up on a wall, you're inviting those conversations. So don't shut them down.
Yeah, that's
And don't say to somebody, no, you're wrong.
Is that something you've had to tackle, taking us back to this new body of work of the self-portraiture?
Yeah.
Having said that, working in the gallery has almost helped you find that direction and focus down on the stuff that's really important to you to create.
Yeah, definitely, because I feel like I've found myself. So tapping into this project and starting this project, as I said, I do feel like there's a huge weight being lifted and I feel like I found what I'm supposed to be doing.
I mean, this might be too personal, but what sort of stuff are you writing in your journal that led you to want to create a self-portrait?
So it was quite an involved journal. It would ask you for like wins through the day that you'd done.
Oh, it was like a prompted journal.
Yeah. So it would, what's inspired you today? What are your wins from the day? Just stuff like that. So there were loads of little sections every single day that you'd write in. And so, it was making me think in a different way because you don't go home like in the evening and go, what are my little wins from the day? What am I thankful for today? That's really wanky language and I don't particularly like it, but I did do it.
But when you're prompted to do it in a journal, you focus on it.
So I was doing it. I just felt like all these years I've been advocating for mental health and talking about it. Why don't I use the thing that I'm best at to showcase that and to then open that conversation up a little bit more? And then it just fell into place and it's like, oh.
So did you start with sketches and
So I started with, they're all big. When I was in life drawing, when I was probably about 16, I'd go to the first few sessions and I'd do these little pencil drawings. They were like about that big. So like the drawing would be about A4 size. And then everyone has that one teacher. That one teacher, he was like, let's get you a big piece of paper and some charcoal. And that was it. I was away. So a lot of my drawings are like life size.
Right.
So this started at the end of 2024. And so I just did, every week I'd do a different charcoal drawing just of my face.
What, just selfies that you'd taken of yourself?
Yeah, just loads of different ones. So different expressions, like no expression, maybe looking pissed off, maybe crying.
And is this where you started to post it and started to see the reactions of people that is then forming that natural progression that develops the whole project?
Snowballed. It just snowballed, And I was just like, oh, okay, there's actually something here. But then having those conversations with people, those educational conversations with people at work, when they're like, I've seen what you're doing, I really like it. You'd have those conversations. I'd be like, oh, okay, I can develop this. So that's what I mean by an education.
So it's opening people's eyes and in some ways trying to help educate people a little bit as well.
Yeah, definitely. But also it's helping me because it's just like I can show myself without that mask. Yeah, I'm still going to go to work with my war paint on and my hair straight and not wearing like joggers covered in paint. But I am showing the side of me that is just like me.
But that's very brave.
I just think as I've got older, I'm just like, oh, fucking can't be bothered with this. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I haven't got time in my life for that. So I'm just going to be me.
But that's why I wanted to get you on, because the project, we've had other female portrait artists on as well, but none of them have been specifically self-portraits dealing with your own issues around your own mental health.
I mean, if you come into the studio, it's like Narcissist City. It's just my face everywhere and they're all fucking massive because now I'm working on oil paintings. But it's just like the easiest thing, isn't it? I'm there. So why not just draw myself? And it just perfectly ties into what I've been doing for all these years and trying to just say, look, it's okay to talk about it. Doesn't make you a freak. What is it, 1 in 4 people has a mental illness?
I don't know the statistics, but yeah.
It's probably even more than that now, but that's always the one that they shout about, 1 in 4 people. And it's just like, everybody knows somebody. It's okay. It's all right.
Have you had any unexpected reactions?
Yeah, so somebody said the other day, what did she say? Something about how I can see the beauty of your love for what you're doing, but that you're doing it ugly. She was like, I can see how much you're loving this. Because I was like, oh, just because I look miserable doesn't mean I am. Today I'm all right. It's just that's the face I'm working on.
But it's quite a, how do I put this correctly? Anti-societal view on life. Does that make sense? Bearing in mind we live in this highlight reel of social media where everyone puts the best bits on.
Oh, God.
Where you're deliberately putting the bits where you're not happy, you're sad, potentially crying, whatever images.
But then why should you hide that? If that's, if that's who you are half the time, is society pressuring you to hide that away because it makes them feel uncomfortable?
Yes.
Hence the title.
Of course. Yeah.
There we go.
And there is the pressure.
So it's, look, this is my face, fucking deal with it. I've dealt with it. I'm all right with it. What's your problem? And that's what it's all about.
And this is where the
aggressive, isn't it?
Yeah, but this is where the title comes from, doesn't it? Do I make you feel uncomfortable?
Yeah.
It's projecting that back on the viewer for them to ask the question of themselves about not only whether the image makes them, the question of speaking about mental illness makes them uncomfortable, all of these things. And that's why I think it's such an interesting project.
Yeah. I'm not afraid to say I've had a suicide attempt. Obviously wasn't successful, but I'm not afraid to say that. I was in a bit of a hypomanic state and things just weren't going very well. I wasn't looking after myself at all. So I had a suicide attempt. Obviously, I'm still here. And then these were the David Cameron years. National Health Service has never dealt with mental illness particularly well. Saw a psychiatrist in a NHS hospital who said, and at that point I'd done a fuckload of research, and I always say nobody knows your illness better than you do. So I knew myself. I knew the phases I'd been through. I'd researched it. I saw this psychiatrist. I've had depression all these years, but I think I've got bipolar disorder. And he just said, no, you need to reflect on your life and your choices, and sent me away.
Hey, sorry for interrupting. This is just a quick reminder that if you're enjoying this episode, there are a couple of really easy ways that you can support the podcast. You can hit the support the show link in the show notes, or consider grabbing yourself something from the Creative Noahland shop on the website. And don't forget, community members get free shipping on all orders. So, before you buy anything, be sure to join. Thanks again for being part of the Creative Noahland community, and now, let's get back into it. You need to reflect on your life and your choices.
Yeah, I really hope he's not still in the job. And so my sister was like, oh, fuck's sake, right. And she just found me a private psychiatrist. And this woman was brilliant. So, I had to pay. But I went and I sat with her for 1-2 hours. And the first session, we went through everything. And she was like, okay, yeah, I've listened to you. I'm making an assessment. I agree with you. And so then she started me on some medication. And that's when it all started to get better and a bit easier. But that's what it took. And it's so sad that it took that for me nearly coming to the end to then find the help that I needed. And I haven't had to see her now I don't think I've seen her since I've started my new job, and that's nearly 4 years.
Wow.
So I take a fuckload of medication. I have to take an antidepressant, a dose that's higher than the NHS recommends, but she's fine with it. I have to take an antipsychotic, a really heavy dose of that, and I have to take that at night because it turns me into a zombie. And then I have to take a mood stabilizer, which is also something that it's another drug. It crosses over with epilepsy. So there's a lot of medication going around, like 42 pills a week I have to take.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I've got my full-on like old person rattling thing where I put them all in.
But this is where having the conversation about this stuff opens people's eyes to this whole thing, that the fact that, you're not going to be able to see a lot of people's illness, especially when they're mental illnesses.
Of course, absolutely. And there's, Dr. Alex George. Have you heard of him?
I'm afraid I don't.
Well, he was on Love Island years ago.
That's probably why I've never heard of him.
Yeah, which is not a great place to start, but he's an NHS doctor who worked in A&E, and his brother took his own life. And Alex George since then has been incredibly open about his own mental health. Obviously, he works with it, and he's been really open about it. And he started this thing on Instagram called Post Your Pill. Okay. It's just normalising medication. So you just basically, these are the pills I take. 10 years ago, bloody hell, what's going on? Nobody can't look at that. But it's just a reality.
Well, I think the world would be amazed at how many people are on some form of antidepressants or
Jesus Christ.
SSRI or some.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Really surprising.
Yeah.
But I still think it's quite brave of you to come out openly and just talk about that. I know you say you're quite blasé and you're not bothered, but that's why I love the project, because it is so,
Yeah.
I keep saying brave, because I do feel like, because we live in a time where it is difficult to be vulnerable, but actually there's so much more strength in...
Yeah, and if we all did it, imagine like the communities you'd find.
Well, just the fact that who's the stronger, the person that leans into the emotions that they're feeling, or the one that runs away from them? Eventually, I think the one that runs away from them is going to fall foul of them some way.
But something that really bugs me, that I know other people who struggle with their mental health, and they'll be like, okay, yeah, the doctors put me on this for a bit, but they said, oh, we don't want you to stay on it for a long time. And I'm like, why not? Are you going to take a diabetic off insulin because they reach a level where they're managing it and they go, oh, you don't need it anymore? Absolute nonsense. So there's this epidemic of GPs who are obsessed with people being on antidepressants short term. That's not a solution, because that chemical imbalance will still be there and they will just spiral again. So people need to, and I've had conversation with friends and they're like, oh no, I don't want to be on these drugs. And I'm like, well, I'm on mine for life and it's fine. It's okay if that's what you need. And it's got to the point now where some days I think to myself, I'm making this up. I haven't got bipolar. I'm fine. But then people will remind me, no, fucking trust me, when you're not well, you're not well.
And would that be evident if you just decided to stop taking your medication? That would just be evident?
Well, aside from dealing with horrendous side effects, so if I miss one dose of my antipsychotics, the next day by the evening I'm vomiting and shaking. So
really? Physical effects.
That's just a missed dose. So these are serious drugs, and if you're going to come off them, you come off them slowly and it's controlled.
Right.
But if I were to come off them, oh Christ alive, you wouldn't recognise me. You wouldn't recognise me at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then there's that whole thing, it's like, oh, is this actually me? Am I being who I actually am, or am I just being medicated, Claire?
Oh, I see. Yeah, that uncertainty of, am I just living my life medicated?
Yeah.
Who is the real me?
Yeah. But then if the real you isn't a healthy you, then it's okay to get help with that.
Yeah, of course. and look what it's manifested. It's manifested this very cool project that you're working on. What's the plan for or is there any plan just to keep producing these?
Yeah, just like
self-portraits?
Yeah, keep going. Yeah, I don't anticipate stopping anytime soon. I think something else that working in the gallery has taught me is that you need to put yourself out there, and it's scary. So I'm going to start applying for exhibitions and try and get my work out there. I know from the stats at work that the majority of people get turned down.
Is it harder for you to submit them as self-portraits rather than portraits of someone else? Or does it not really matter because the viewer doesn't necessarily know that you're the artist?
Well, the funny conversation is that there's the potential this year that I could submit my own work to where I work. And that's fine. We're allowed to do that. But then it's like, is that a bit close to home? If it was a lovely, pretty self-portrait, then it'd be like, oh, look, isn't she lovely? But then if people I work with are coming in and going, what the hell is that dragon on the wall? Jesus Christ. So I don't know. But then is that just a little bit of fear creeping in?
Sounds like it.
So maybe fuck it, I'll just do it.
I think it should.
Okay, fuck it, I'll do it.
And what about things like you discussed trying to build a bit more awareness around the mental health and stuff?
I think that this project could end up being helpful to people. And ultimately, I think eventually I'd quite like to show the body of work. It needs a lot more. Yeah, there's not enough of it. So I anticipate the body of work getting much bigger. And I might have to work on it for like another year before I really think about, okay, I've got enough that I can do something with this now. But I think I could. I think there's a lot of scope, and this is another thing that work has taught me, of different avenues and how you can take these projects. I could do workshops. Places will get tutors in. I could go and do a mental health painting workshop. You can do it for adults. You could do it for kids. I could go into schools.
What about some sort of funding?
Yeah, I'm going to look at
Council, maybe?
Yeah. I'm going to look at getting some funding. It's really competitive. Arts Council is amazing. There's also like National Lottery project grants. And you have to pick which way you're going to go.
But with the context of the project, raising awareness about mental illness, surely that sounds right up their sort of street. Really.
Well, you'd hope so. But also, if my project is going to be successful, I'd like to think there's loads of other people out there doing projects about their own mental health. because that's healthy, and that means that other people aren't afraid to talk about it as well. So I don't know.
But collaborative shows around that, are there specific open calls around things like mental
Probably,
health?
yeah.
I'm sure there are.
I'm sure there are, yeah, absolutely. You just got to find them. I mean, and that's another beauty of social media. You can just search for them because that's how you do it now. It's all online.
Do you think some open calls have more merit than others, bearing in mind your experience of working in a gallery?
I think it depends who you talk to.
What do you mean by that?
So there are... So the people who aren't necessarily open to all of those conversations we talked about, they will put a lot of stock in London shows, things at the Mall Galleries, Royal Academy. But if you actually look, there's just shitloads all over the place. And that's also the beauty of social media and all of the different ways you can get your work out there now. There's so many like alternative venues and stuff, which I'm now aware of that I never was before, just through the people I work with. In some ways, it might be easier to be an artist now because there's a lot of outlets for you. But then does that mean there's loads more competition?
Potentially.
Yeah.
But surely going back to what you said about hoping that this project finds its audience, that's the same for every artist, I guess. I'm not hugely into landscape paintings, but there will be an audience for landscape paintings.
Absolutely. There were some people just going, that is so self-indulgent. Like, why are you just painting yourself? That's fine. And I'll have a conversation with you about why I'm doing it. But this is what I mean about having these conversations. And like, I believe in the work I'm doing. It doesn't mean everyone else is going to, but that's all right. It's life. And something I have learned, like, if you had to get one instruction tattooed on your forehead for other people, it would just be like, remember, art is subjective. So you will put in for an exhibition and you won't get in because that day, those judges weren't looking for that kind of work.
Yeah.
But don't ever, ever, ever let anybody tell you your work isn't good enough. If you believe in it, then you've won. If you believe in what you're doing, because that's how I feel now. I feel so good about what I'm doing. But it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but I believe in it. So
as we say, just the act of creating alone is an act of bravery sometimes, isn't it?
But don't let anybody ever. And this is what I mean about those people who aren't willing to have those conversations, because they're the kinds of people who will say, no, it's not very good, just because they're arrogant.
Arrogance is just fear wearing a crown.
I was literally about to say that. Arrogance just comes from insecurity completely.
Yeah.
It really does. And it's one of the things I've got least time for is people being arrogant.
And I think with the humility comes the ability to learn.
Yeah, totally. And that's what these conversations and like just this constant learning is about. You've got to be open to it all.
And hoping from the conversations that we're having on the podcast that people are learning and seeing,
of course they are.
Learning from every different story that we're telling, because that's how we've learned for millennia.
Exactly.
Through telling stories.
Oh, that's beautiful, isn't it? Edit the laugh out.
Yeah, you're not supposed to laugh that hard. Jesus. Well, we do have a closing tradition on the Creative No Land podcast that you know all about because you are an avid listener of the podcast. We asked you for a quote that resonates with you and a potential future guest in your network that you think might be an interesting person to come on the podcast.
So I've got a quote that is so important to me, I have it tattooed down my spine.
That's pretty important.
And it's by Van Gogh, who you'll know is a celebrated head case. So and when I told my sister I was going to get this tattoo, she went, oh, God, he's not your bipolar hero, is he?
Your bipolar hero.
And I was like, yeah, I've got a collection of bipolar heroes like Carrie Fisher, Stephen Fry, Van Gogh. Yeah, I'm collecting them.
A collection of bipolar heroes. I like that, though.
Carrie Fisher, though, seriously, that one was an absolute queen. So the quote is, I've only got the first part of the quote. If I am worth anything later, I am worth something now. And then the second bit of the quote that I couldn't fit on my spine is, for wheat is wheat, even if people only see it as grass to begin with.
I know that quote very well.
It's good just quote. Like...
Wheat is wheat, even if people see it as grass to begin with.
So it's just like, it's okay, your time will come.
I love that. That is a great quote.
And I don't really know why I got it on my spine, because I can't see it.
Yeah, that's true. And what about a suggested guest?
Oh, my goodness. I know loads of amazing people through work. I'm not going to name them because I don't know if they'd feel comfortable talking. But so there's the lady who employed me at the gallery. She is now head curator at one of the region's biggest art galleries.
Okay.
She's worked at huge places over the years. Imperial War Museum. She's worked with people like Tracy Emin and Damien Hirst. Hate him.
Okay. Come on. We can't avoid that. Why do you hate Damien Hirst?
Because he doesn't do it himself. He's not honest. He's an ideas man, isn't he, basically? That's what he is. And then he gets other people to do it. And then the whole NFT thing that he did a few years ago, and it was just like so cynical. The paint, I follow him on Instagram. I don't know why, because it's a complete hate watch, isn't it? So that's what I do. But he produces these massive paintings and they're just shit. But it's because it's him, they'll sell for whatever. And I just don't think he's very good and I don't think he's honest.
Do you think potentially Damien Hirst used to be good?
Yeah, he did some interesting stuff to start with, but then I just think that
Brand Hirst has taken
yeah,
over.
and he's realised his own success and he knows what sells, and I just think it gets a bit soulless. Like if it got to the point where I was just churning out the same old shit without thinking about it, I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm done now. Just going to watch Homes Under the Hammer and not do it.
Going to watch Homes Under the Hammer.
Which I do love, actually.
Okay. So your previous boss, potentially.
Yeah, she's brilliant.
She's worked with all those people, even Damien Hirst, who you were not a
she's
fan
just,
of.
and her knowledge is phenomenal. And
do you think she would be a good person because of that knowledge that she can pass on to other artists?
oh yeah, and just the stories she's got, and just
Well, hopefully she's got a few about Damien Hirst after that.
she's
bashing.
very real, and she doesn't sugarcoat it.
Cool.
So
that's what we like on the podcast.
And then there's another lady, she's an artist. So she had a career as a teacher and now she produces some incredible work that looks at children and their experience of poverty and deprivation. And the way she approaches it is incredibly interesting. So I think it started during lockdown. She was going on dog walks and she started collecting twigs. And then collecting twigs, she started to really look after the twigs. She didn't want to break the twigs. And she started wrapping the twig. The twigs became children. And hearing her talk about her work is really interesting.
Okay.
But she's also another fabulously, angry lady like me. So it's just take no shit. This is what it is.
Okay, so we will get in contact with those far unnamed ladies.
Yes.
That could be interesting guests for the podcast. I think that all that's left to say is thank you very much for doing the podcast.
You're welcome.
And I look forward to seeing where this project goes because, as I've said before, it is a brave project to put yourself out there so much, even though you are quite, fuck it. And that's the kind of attitude.
Is that another mask?
But it's exactly that. Is that, it's often if we say fuck it about our own work, it's easier to be a bit less.
Yeah, completely. Maybe there's another mask under the mask that I need to look at.
There you go. There's another explanation.
Oh, shit. Okay, I better get another journal.
Right. Well, we better finish this podcast, and you can go and get another journal, and we can wait for the next portrait to come out.
Thank you very much,
Claire. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks for listening to the Creative Noahland podcast. If you found anything in this episode useful or inspiring, please consider subscribing or sharing it with a friend. You can also help the podcast by clicking the support the show link in the show notes or by grabbing yourself something from the Creative Noahland shop. And here's the bonus. When you join the community through our website, you'll get a special discount code that gives you free shipping on all orders. So, before you buy anything, be sure to join the community. Every bit of support helps us keep sharing these inspiring stories. So, thanks again for listening, and until next time, explore, inspire, and create.
Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way. And so, therefore, it's so important to consider this question: what do I desire?